Welcome to Keysight's video series on IxNetwork. I am Stephen Duffy, Senior Systems Engineer here at Keysight. Today we will be discussing the benefits and reasons for network protocol and performance testing. Welcome to the video series on Keysight's IxNetwork. Today we're going to give you an overview of IxNetwork and how to properly use it within your network. With the ever-changing technology today, networks are becoming increasingly stressed. From the introduction to streaming services and continuous requirement to be globally accessible, networks are having to increase their bandwidth and speeds. This means you are no longer focusing on making sure that there is just connectivity. Instead, you are continuously having to observe and analyze users' experience. This means you need a network that is reliable, fast, and secure. With the introduction of next-generation networks comes a set of challenges that will continuously to grow. Some of the challenges people are encountering nowadays is application growth. How are you prepared for the continuous expansion of data on your network? Also, there's the adjustment of people going from on-prem up to the cloud. So with cloud adoption, whether it be public or private, how do you know which is the best balance of performance versus cost compared to staying on-prem? With all these challenges, there's a constant that has a great impact on these, and this is the network's control plane. As networks grow and expand due to application growth, there is the need to validate and architect out a solid foundation of the network, and this solid foundation we're talking about would be your control plane. Keysight gives an easy and cost-effective way to help build out and manage a future-proof network which enables you to become proactive. This is done through continuous testing. During the pre-deployment phase, we can help you validate that you have the appropriate solutions for the architecture you are designing. So even though you have used a specific vendor in the past, doesn't mean it's the best choice for your newly designed network. In the deployment and optimize phases, we help validate and assess the control plane for options such as quality of service, routes, spine leaf configuration, and NFV proper functionality. As vendors release updates or service providers modifying their own architectures, there needs to be a mandatory test policy in place to validate any issues that might arise. So how do you know that the newly released OS for your core edge router doesn't limit routes, policies, or even use excess memory for basic queries? Shouldn't you know if the new firmware for your spine and leaves deleted routes to 4 of your leaves? So the question is, what is the solution that you can greatly benefit from? It is called IxNetwork. IxNetwork is an advanced network control plane test and assessment tool. It gives you the ability to test at the port, system, protocol, and network levels. This is so your metrics and analytics are at the granularity you will require. With IxNetwork being so comprehensive, it can test and scale the capacity of your new devices. There is very little limitation on what IxNetwork can do on the control plane. With its capacity ranging from 1 gig all the way up to 400 gig, we have great flexibility for your newly designed environments. Now, why don't we talk about some examples on how customers have used this in the past? This first customer was having to deploy new switches but did not know the performance that was needed for their architecture. So IxNetwork was able to replicate their architecture to test and validate the performance and scalability of this vendor. In the end, it allowed to purchase the appropriate number of switches and correct licenses, which helped reduce their overall cost, while validating that their architecture is properly designed and capable for their future needs. The next customer was needing to see the difference of a virtual broadband remote access server versus a hardware. Since IxNetwork has a flexibility as being both virtual editions and hardware, we can be used on most hypervisors and public clouds. In this case, they were able to test the access server in a virtual environment and validate the performance metrics. Now, this last customer needed to find a way to baseline SDN controllers to validate which vendor would be best for their architecture. Since IxNetwork can emulate both spine and leaf switches, they were able to validate at what scale a vendor was truly capable of. IxNetwork then used VXLAN to simulate intense traffic scenarios to test and validate the underlying network integrity. To wrap up, IxNetwork gives you the ability to stay ahead of the curve during the whole network lifecycle. With its flexibility and advanced capabilities, it allows you to feel good to know that you built a solid network foundation without having to worry about issues that rise from the architecture. So as a highlight, IxNetwork is capable in virtual and hardware, and it has capabilities ranging from 1 gig all the way to 400 gig, with technologies ranging from basic IPv4, IPv6 up to hyperscaling into even automotive Ethernet. If you're interested in additional information, please reach out to jointhejourney@keysight.com.